The Nintendo Switch 1 is still pretty great in 2025, and here's why. The game library is stacked, you've got years of classics, tons of indies, and really good third-party ports that play pretty darn well on handheld. Second, it's one of the coolest hybrid systems out there still. It's just easy to pick it up, play it on the go, and then throw it back in the dock. And let's be real, if you're like me and you've owned a Switch for years, you probably have a backlog of amazing games that you haven't finished. So while I've been daydreaming about wanting a Switch 2 or a Steam Deck, I just don't think I'm ready to go spend hundreds on a new system when a bunch of fun is already sitting here. Switch 2 might be out, but unless you're really dying for those upgrades and some of the newer games, the OG Switch still delivers a fun handheld experience. One of the big questions to answer is, if you don't already have a Switch in 2025, is it worth buying one on the used market? Well, you have three options: the Switch Lite, the original Switch, and the OLED. If you are looking at a Switch, you know you don't want to get a Switch 2 until there's a revision, like an OLED model. I'm hoping that's the case and it's not too long that we're waiting. The original Switch on eBay is going for $150 to $250, depending on the package. I would avoid this one. It's the one that I actually have and the one you're seeing in the video. They don't have the best battery life. Compared to the OLED screen, it's not great. I still enjoy it, don't get me wrong, but the original models, it's 2 to 3 hours of battery life. If you have an original red box model, it's like 4 to 5 hours of battery life. It's not a bad option, just the pricing hasn't really dropped all that much. I thought when Switch 2 got here it would. It's pretty similar. Now the Switch Lites are like $100 to $160-ish. I like this option a ton. Now, it doesn't dock. You don't get the detachable Joy-Cons, so some of the games that require motion controls, you don't get the same kind of features or the experience, but let's be real, a lot of games don't really use those motion controls. This thing is small. You compare it to the size of a Switch 2, and you really do have something that is a handheld that you would throw in your bag, take it with you wherever you want, and it's a super cool budget option. Plus, a big wave of momentum is happening for this thing because a lot of shell swap mods are out there where you can customize this thing, and I'm seeing all sorts of videos pop up of models that remind me of, like, I don't know, 3DS era happiness and colors and vibes. It's kind of hard to describe, but I think this is a great option. If you know you're sticking in this ecosystem, your software will transfer with you if you eventually upgrade to like a Switch 2 or something. The Switch Lite is very compelling if you know you don't need docked and you want to go handheld. Now the OLED, there's a reason why the price hasn't dropped on this one very much. You're still looking around $300 usually, maybe a little bit less on eBay. And it's got the best screen. It's the ultimate version of the original Switch. I've seen it. It is insane. The difference between an OLED and an LCD is hard to communicate unless you've seen it in person. But you're now within that range of Switch 2 pricing, so you'll have to decide for yourself. If you end up picking one of these up, I do want to share with you two pieces of gear that have been essential. I bought both of these a very long time ago, and I've gotten just a ton of usage out of it. The first is the Satisfy grip. I don't know what name is, but there's a bunch of these cool plastic grips that your Switch can just slot into, and they essentially make the Joy-Cons have a little bit extra meat on them, so you can use it more like a controller. This is essential if you're going to be playing games at all in handheld mode. It reduces a little bit of the portability, so again, it's bulkier and it's bigger, but if you have big hands, it makes it so much more comfortable and easy to play this thing. And they're even kind of offset to where the right hand is in a better position for that lower down right analog stick. The other thing I picked up was a super cheap, like $20 D-pad focused Joy-Con for 2D platformers. The directional buttons of the Joy-Con are not great if you play 2D platformers on a D-pad. I don't even remember the brand or any of these things. There's so many accessories now, though. There's got to be tons that are dirt cheap. I picked up this Zelda Joy-Con. It doesn't have the super HD rumble stuff, but it's so nice for 2D platformers. Very helpful. Games like Celeste, things I've been through a lot of times. The accuracy you get out of it over trying to make those same movements with the little arrow key buttons on the original Joy-Cons, it's invaluable. I highly recommend it. And then if you want to hear about the games that I'm going to be focused on trying to finish and roll credits, Bayonetta 2, awesome action game from Platinum. I love their titles. Another one, Astral Chain, one of the most stylish and one of the best looking games on the system. Very unique. Not many games like this and outside of Platinum's normal wheelhouse. I want to go through Link's Awakening again. I know this is a title that performs way better, apparently, on the Switch 2, but I enjoyed the first playthrough enough on the Switch 1 that I'm ready to do it again. I need to try Bowser's Fury. This game came packaged with Super Mario 3D World, and it's a very short, 3D, kind of open-worldy Mario experience, and I wonder if it was a testing ground for whatever the next kind of mainline 3D Mario game is going to be like. Sonic X Shadow. So this is Sonic Origins and then the new Shadow campaign, and it's usually discounted pretty heavily, so if you look around, there's some great physical options on the used market that are a lot less expensive. Very fun 2D and 3D-ish platformer, stylish visuals. It looks like it runs a lot better on PC. I wish I would have waited and got it on a Steam sale, but again, the point of a handheld is to play this thing on the go. I've never finished Hades, and I've put many, many hours into it, and I'd like to hit that end and beat this thing. The perfect little 10-15 minute game, and the kind of thing that's going to encourage me to take the Switch out of the dock and on the go. Fire Emblem Three Houses. I've tried many times to finish this game. I know apparently it's a masterpiece. I think I got 10 or 15 hours in. I should put the effort in to finish it. Enough friends have said it's great, so we're going to try and roll credits on it. And then Metroid Dread, another game that I've started many times and not finished. I've gotten like 5 hours into it on 2 separate playthroughs, so I know I need to hit credits on that game. It was a great reminder when I just wrote down all the stuff that I already had, like, hey, I know there's the FOMO, the better hardware is always calling to us, but remember what you have already sitting around, and what kind of use can you get out of it? Look, as much as I'm loving the Switch 1, we need to be real about one thing: game prices. Nintendo games rarely go on sale. Even if you can find a great deal on a used Switch or Switch Lite in 2025, you buy a few $60 games and a lot of that discount just goes out the window. That's where something like maybe a Steam Deck or another PC handheld does start to make sense for the right user. The upfront cost is higher, but the flexibility is next level. A Steam library that goes with you wherever you want. Steam sales are legendary and indie games are often much cheaper, and you're not locked into a single storefront. Plus you have emulation and modding and cloud gaming, all these unique opportunities that are available. I still think the Switch has something special, especially when it comes to like the Nintendo exclusives, and it's a pretty frictionless experience, which is going to appeal to a wider range of players. But if you're someone who wants more control and cheaper game prices, or a more powerful device overall, a PC handheld is well worth thinking about. The point isn't to chase just new gear for the hype, it's to find what fits you and your life, your time, and what you actually enjoy playing. What do you think of the Switch in 2025? What do you think about Switch 2? Are you waiting for a revision like me? And what are some of the games that you like to play? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. I hope you're having a great day, and I will see you again very soon.